Okay, so how about we check out an SCP first, and then we'll jump back to the Attack on Titan. This one, I don't even know. I don't even know if this is real. But again, this is the SCP universe. As I've been told, not all of them are quote-unquote dangerous, and some of them are kind of silly. But I want to know what this one is, because it's basically about our cousins on the other side of the sea. So this is the INFINITE IKEA, and we're gonna check it from the channel TheVolgun, because that one has been recommended a lot.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-3008. Object Class, Euclid.
So Euclids are the ones that cannot be contained, which makes a lot of sense. It's a bloody building. It will be the equivalent of doing that one building in Control, the video game by Remedy. The whole game takes place in something called the Oldest House. It's like a brutalist architecture piece of a building that just popped into just this bloody thing that's just popped in New York. So yeah, that's gonna be a little bit difficult to contain, especially if you are dealing with like some Warehouse 13 kind of things.
Special containment procedures. The retail park containing SCP-3008 has been purchased by the Foundation and converted into site. All public roads leading to or passing by site have been redirected. The entrance to SCP-3008 is to be monitored at all times, and no one is to enter SCP-3008 outside of testing, as permitted by the senior researcher.
Okay.
Humans exiting SCP-3008 are to be detained and then debriefed prior to the administration of amnestics. Dependent upon the situation of their stay in SCP-3008, a cover story may need to be generated prior to their release.
What?
Any other entities exiting SCP-3008 are to be terminated. Description: SCP-3008 is a large retail unit previously owned by and branded as IKEA, a popular furniture retail chain. A person entering SCP-3008 through the main entrance and then passing out of sight of the doors will find themselves translocated into SCP-3008-1. This displacement will typically go unnoticed, as no change will occur from the perspective of the victim. They will generally not become aware until they try to return to the entrance. SCP-3008-1 is a space resembling the inside of an IKEA furniture store, extending far beyond the limits of what could physically be contained within the dimensions of the retail unit. Current measurements indicate...
Yeah, it seems so. As soon as you enter the doors, it's like, imagine if you are going through a revolving door, because that's what most IKEAs have in their entrance, and you actually loop through it, and then instead of being thrown out of the exit, you are thrown somewhere else. Because somebody will expect to see you pass through the damn revolving door. But as soon as you do that, you are displaced to another location, because those on the other side should have seen you in the least and reported if you enter the store. That's creepy. I'm not gonna lie. That's creepy. I've once got lost in an IKEA, and for the dumbest reason, because they were starting to put some new stuff in the office area, and they were just taking stuff from the layers, or not layers, like where they're freaking dragons. Wow, I like that was my choice of word there. But at least the basement, let's call it that, and they were starting to restock. And so, because they always have these lines that you need to follow to find the right place, they closed that area, and I was like, no way, I was here before. I did pass by this. It's like this normal sense. If you travel to a new country, you will always like know your path, like the path that you took from, let's say, your hotel, from the reception to your room, or whenever you leave the hotel to go and find some dining places, you always take the same path back home. Like instinctively, it's there. And I was tracing my steps back to the same area, and I was thinking to myself, no freaking shot. And so I got lost in there. But I was perhaps like 16 at the time. So it's not like I was going to shed my pants over that, but I can imagine how somebody will be freaked out if it is then an infinite maze.
In an area of at least 10 kilometers squared.
Holy 10 kilometers squared? Are you insane? That's wild.
Visible external terminators detected in any direction. Inconclusive results from the use of laser rangefinders has led to the speculation that the space may be infinite. SCP-3008-1 is inhabited by an unknown number of civilians trapped within prior to containment. Gathered data suggests that they have formed a rudimentary civilization within SCP-3008-1, including the construction of settlements and fortifications for the purpose of defending against SCP-3008-2. SCP-3008-2 are humanoid entities that exist within SCP-3008-1. While superficially resembling humans, they possess exaggerated and inconsistent bodily proportions, often described as being too short or too tall.
Can you imagine trying to ask for help in an IKEA and then you just see a bunch of Victor Wembanyama's family just walking by? For those who don't know who this is, during the, I think it was during the 40k video, I talked about the guy. He was doing, he was wearing a Halloween costume. Yeah, as a Slender Man. Think about that. If you are this tall and you have to wear a Slender Man costume, like it's perfect for you. But yeah, I'm imagining that guy as being one of the SCPs.
They possess no facial features and in all observed cases wear a yellow shirt and blue trousers consistent with the IKEA employee uniform.
Dang.
SCP-3008-1 has a rudimentary day-night cycle, determined by the overhead lighting within the space activating and deactivating at times consistent with the opening and closing times of the original retail store. During the night instances of SCP-3008-2 will become violent towards all other life forms within SCP-3008-1. During these bouts of violence, they have been heard to vocalize phrases in English that are typically variations of, "The store is now closed, please exit the building." Once day begins.
And by the way, yes, you are absolutely correct with Tron Uprising. That was a thing. But also, I like the fact that them speaking English is something worth noting. Because I suppose that for somebody who's not too familiar with Scandinavian, pronouncing the name of IKEA items sounds more or less like casting a spell.
SCP-3008-2 instances immediately become passive and begin moving throughout SCP-3008-1, seemingly at random. They are unresponsive to questioning or other verbal cues in this state, though will react violently if attacked.
Okay.
SCP-3008-1 is known to have one or more exits located within, though these exits do not appear to have a fixed position, making it difficult to leave SCP-3008-1 once inside. Using any other door besides the main entrance to enter the structure or breaking through the walls of the retail unit leads into the non-anomalous interior of the original store.
Oh.
Since containment began, 14 individuals have managed to exit SCP-3008. Following extensive debriefing, all individuals have been administered amnestics and released. Incident 3008.
Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna point out one thing. IKEA. I don't know how old SCP-3008-1 is supposed to be, but IKEA was founded around the Second World War. I am pretty sure that it was in 42. Let me see. IKEA. No, not IKEA.com. I don't want to go to the store. Okay, it started in 43. Okay? By Ingvar Kamprad. 43. If this thing has been active for so long, holy shit.
1. At 0:37 hours on 2000, a human male exited SCP-3008, followed 10 seconds later by an instance of SCP-3008-2. SCP-3008-2 caught and killed the man before itself being terminated by an armed response personnel. This incident represents the only time an instance of SCP-3008-2 has been seen exiting SCP-3008.
Oh shit.
A full autopsy on the corpse was performed. See 3008-2 autopsy log for more details. The man was carrying an IKEA-branded journal, seeming to document his time in SCP-3008-1.
It would be rather creepy if they focus exclusively on the language of the targets. Like you encounter one, like during the night, screaming, "Yeah, the store is closing," and then another Swedish guy comes by and say, "TheVolgun."
So, I'm writing this to document what I can only assume is my sudden descent into insanity. I can't possibly be that bad a navigator. And yet, as I write this, I've been trapped in IKEA for 2 days. I haven't seen another person in the entire time I've been here. I thought it was a prank at first. Turn the place into a maze, get all the people out, and see how long it takes me to get lost. Then everyone has a good old laugh. Realized that wasn't the case when I tried to backtrack. Everything had changed, so I ended up lost. Instead of the exit, it was just row after row of bookcases.
Shit.
So I'm trapped in an IKEA. Sounds like the setup for a bad joke. The lights went out at 10 p.m., nearly giving me a fucking heart attack. That loud electrical thunk sound, and then pitch blackness. The place is full of beds, though, and my phone has a torch on it. But no damn signal. So I found a bed and went to sleep. I spent most of the day trying to find my way out with no luck. Did find a restaurant serving those meatballs, though, so at least I won't.
Oh. Shitbola. Yes. Okay, listen. You can survive there for ages. If they serve IKEA meatballs, then you're good. Then you're good. But I wonder what they're made out of then. Who is restocking them? Who's restocking the meatballs? No, let's not even wonder there. Let's not do that.
Starve. That's probably the punchline to that joke. Anyway.
They have the cheapest hot dogs in the world. Like, less than $1, I think. Perhaps the inflation prices may have increased them. I have not eaten a hot dog in IKEA in a while. Usually I just take some ice cream there during the summer when we have to buy a lot of furniture. It's like we almost do that as a tradition. Well, surprisingly enough, we have to help a bunch of people move during the summer every single year. So yeah, getting ice cream from there is good. It's either that or a special store called Ludolf's. It's like a chain that serve ice cream, and they will give you like 3 scoops for $2, and it's so good. But it's not IKEA though. IKEA hot dogs I think are less than $1, so it's good and it's pretty tasty.
They were still warm and fresh, but I haven't seen anyone around who could have cooked them. Made my way back to the beds before the lights cut out again, since it's too dark to search with them off. It's 9:10 a.m. now. The lights came back on a little while ago. I'm sure I've searched the entire area where I came in now, and the exit obviously isn't here, so I'm gonna pick a direction and hope for the best. Day 3 of my magical IKEA mystery adventure. If I wasn't sure that there was something seriously weird about this place before, I am now.
Oh no.
Walked for 3 hours in a more or less straight line. Insert IKEA joke here. Before I came across a ladder next to one of those huge stock shelves they have here. Climbed up to get my bearings, and it looks like this place just stretches on forever. Like that scene from The Lion King, except instead of trees and grass, it was all shelves and tables and crap.
Simba, everywhere the light touches, there you must go. What is that place? That's Dick's. There you must never enter. I was fascinated by the fact that there are stores that are called this literal supply chain that's called Dick's, just like Staples in the US. But yeah, IKEA is supposedly the black spot.
I did see a person moving not too far away though, so I headed over. Thought it was a staff member at first. It was
Oh.
wearing a uniform. Hell, maybe it was. Maybe freakish 7-foot-tall monsters with long arms, short legs, and no faces are just the kinds of thing that they want working at a super IKEA. Damn thing completely ignored me, though. And with no eyes or ears, I can't even be sure it knew I was there. Thought about shoving it or something to get its attention. But its hands were big enough to crush a watermelon, so I decided against it. It just kept moving, and I eventually lost sight of it, so I decided to carry on the way I was going. Anyway, no comfy bed for me tonight. Looks like I've entered the improbably hard and pointy table section of the store. Guess I'll have to make do with some bunched up tablecloths. Phone battery died during the day too. Didn't work anyway, but I feel like I've just lost some vital lifeline.
Wouldn't there be like a place with an outlet during the day? They should have locations where they can charge. Well, I don't suppose that you go to an IKEA with a power bank on you, nor a charger, so... No, what they do have are USB-C cables, so if you have an iPhone, that might be an issue for you. Perhaps the latest one actually have converted to using USB-C because of the EU regulation that's been imposed on Apple. But you should actually be pretty good if you go there. The lamp area always have extra USB-C cables that they sell to you, so you're pretty golden if you're using Android. Just saying.
You ever see one of those cartoons where they're going through doors in a hallway and they just pop out of another door in the same hallway?
Sure.
That's how I feel right now. I've seen nothing but the same identical bookshelf for 2 days now. Just row after row after row of them. I mean, come on! I love books just as much as the next guy, but this is excessive. I'm obviously still moving forwards, though. I can see the signs hanging overhead passing by. Too bad none of them say exit. Not sure who I was addressing that question to. Let's just say it was practice for the autobiography I'm gonna write when I get out of here. I'll call it My Perfectly Normal Trip to a Regular Old IKEA, if I ever get out of here. Finally found some other people. Yeah, turns out I'm not the only poor bastard trapped in here. Lucky for me, I guess.
Yeah.
My 6th night here. 2 of those staff things came at me in the dark.
Oh.
Different from the first one I saw, but still messed up. Heard them coming. They were saying that the store was closed and I had to leave the building, all nice and polite like.
While charging
Not
at
sure
you.
which part of that was weirder. That they didn't have mouths, or that they were apparently trying to kill me while they were saying it. Came at me like rabid dogs. So I legged it. Sprinting through IKEA in the dark like a fucking madman. I saw it when I cleared another stand in front of those giant stock shelves, all lit up with torches and floodlights. They've built a whole town here. Got a massive wall built out of shelves and beds and tables and whatever else.
Oh, that's cool.
I swear to God, it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen.
Oh my god, that's literally the dream. Building like Fortnite. The thing that we always used to do as kids. Oh man, that sounds cool. But yeah, in a bit more of a dystopian scenario. It's like The Mist. Right? If you remember that movie with Tom and Jane, the Punisher. It was in 2007 that movie came out. There was of course the 2017 adaptation. Where like they are being stuck in a grocery store. But like... It's like a reverse Mist because then the danger is coming from the outside. But here it's from the inside. And the ending of The Mist, Jesus Christ, that thing still traumatizes me. If only he had waited. Yeah. God damn, it's so good. 2017 adaptation, I don't know what the hell they were doing. They started involving the 7 deadly sins into this damn thing. That it was old people's imagination that caused them to see all the monsters and the manifestation of the psyche. Like, stop. No, stop. It was monsters, and that's what we agree with. Keep it simple.
Anyway, I guess they saw me coming, or they heard my manly bellows of fear, because they had a gate open, and 2 people were there waving me in. Heard the staff thing slam into the gate behind me after it closed, still politely informing us that the store was now closed.
Oh.
They wandered off eventually, though. They call the town Exchange, because that's what's on the sign hanging from the ceiling directly above it. Exchange and returns, all lit up against the night, using lights they found and plugged into the power lines. And there are beds, and food, and people. Over 50 wonderful people, with
50.
regular-sized limbs and a full set of facial features. It's
Yeah.
now my 7th night here, and the first one not spent in darkness. A full week living in IKEA. There's probably a TV show in that somewhere. Now that I'm around other people, I'm starting to feel more normal. Maybe normal isn't the word, but after a week with only the sound of my own footsteps for company, I was becoming increasingly sure that I'd just gone nuts. That I was tied up in some padded room somewhere, banging my head against the wall. But no, I feel quite sane now, thank you very much. Apparently there are other towns out there. Some with more people, some with less.
Holy shit.
I found that fairly mind-boggling.
Yeah,
How
it
could that many
is.
people go missing with no one noticing? Surely
Because they can't see you. That's the creepiest aspect about it. And also, does it have time displacement? That would be the craziest part of it. Like, if this is like a pocket dimension. Oh, shoot. So that for the rest of the world, it feels like you only just disappeared for a fraction of a second. But you've just been there for ages.
someone would have noticed that everyone who goes to IKEA seems to f***ing vanish. Or maybe it's not everyone. Maybe we're just the lucky ones. The people here just call those staff monster things the staff. Apparently they're fine during the day, minding their own business, walking the aisles. As soon as the lights go out, they go f***ing bonkers. So, during the day...
I'll buy that for $1 for an isekai idea. An actual one where they have to struggle to an IKEA.
People go out to find food, water, and whatever else they need. Apparently there are restaurants and shops around that get randomly restocked. No one knows how. Maybe the staff do it. Apparently they aren't very good at their jobs though, because the restocking sometimes takes a while, which means the food needs to be rationed. Maybe if...
What if you start dressing like the staff? I think that they will notice. They have like an innate sense for that. I'm pretty certain. They don't do anything during the day, so I think that that's how people manage to scavenge. They go by as long as they are not hostile towards the creatures. They don't do anything to them, so they gather resources and then they stay hidden.
If they weren't so busy chasing people around in the dark, they'd get more done. Anyway, when night comes, the staff go nuts and everyone holds up inside the walls. Apparently it's the same everywhere in this place, wherever this place is. The Your IKEA, from whence all other IKEAs sprang. Or maybe we're all still just in the regular IKEA and this is all some fever dream brought on by a mind-numbing boredom. Who knows?
The Cambrian IKEA.
Been here for 10 days now. Most of the people I asked said they stopped keeping track a long time ago. And one guy, Chris, said he'd been here for years. Years. Apparently there are rumors of people who do manage to get out, and people who see the exit only to have it vanish before their very eyes. I get the feeling not everyone believes that, but I do. Explains how he got stuck in here in the first place. Sort of. And I mean, come on. Staff monsters, row after row of high-quality Swedish furniture. I don't know why they would find a disappearing door so hard to believe in.
Okay, there's a small bit of humor in there, despite all of the sad going on. I like that. I would do it too. I would turn into Tom Hanks, stranded in an island. That type of mentality. That has to be like a prerequisite if you want to survive in something as dire as this. Quality Swedish furniture stretching endlessly. Who would find that hard to believe?
Anyway, I went out scavenging for food at a nearby shop with Sandra and Jerry today. Once you learn the landmarks of this place, it's not so hard to navigate. The overhead signs help a lot, but there are others. Not too far in the distance, a huge section of those giant stock shelves is collapsed against each other, and way off in the east, we all assume it's east anyway. Apparently IKEA doesn't sell compasses. It's some kind of tower that looks like it's made of wood. Reaches all the way up to the ceiling. Maybe they were trying to break out through the roof. It lights up at night, so there must be people there. But apparently, it's a few days' walk, which means it must be miles away. So no one here really knows for sure. Apparently I got incredibly lucky sleeping out in the open for a week without getting ripped to bits by the staff. That's me. Lucky, lucky, lucky. We found some food in the shop. Guess the staff restocked it during the night, which was nice of them. There was a telephone on the wall, so I figured I'd try it out. There was a voice on the other end, but they were just talking nonsense. Random words strung together with no real meaning. You ever see a video of someone with aphasia? Kinda sounded like that. Didn't answer me when I spoke to them anyway. Sandra says all the phones in here are the same. Oops. Asking the journal questions again.
Oh, dude, it's going insane.
I was thinking last night. The ceiling on this place is pretty high, and as far as anyone can tell, it goes on forever. Shouldn't there be some kind of weather in here? I'm sure I read about some NASA building that was so big it had its own weather pattern.
Yeah. But no, it doesn't seem to change. That's weird.
With clouds and stuff. This place is definitely bigger than that. But now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure I've never felt so much as a temperature change in here. I'll add it to the grand list of weird bullshit. The staff attacked the exchange last night. Must have been 20 or 30 of them all just asking us to leave the store, calm as you like, while trying to smash the walls down with their bare hands. Apparently this happens pretty regularly, so everyone is prepared for it. Knives from the restaurants, lawnmower blades made into hatchets, a fire axe. One guy, Wasim, even made a functional crossbow. Anyway, the walls have holes in them, which I hadn't noticed before. Specifically so we can stab out at the staff when they attack. Took a couple of them down myself. They don't seem to bleed, which is weird. But they go down as easy as a regular person once you start sticking holes in them. We had to haul the bodies away in the morning. Apparently the dead ones will attract more during the night, so we had to get them away from exchange. We have a couple of those trolley things they use to move big boxes around, so we loaded them up and took them over to pickup. Apparently people just name everything in here after whatever sign is hanging overhead. Pickup was grisly. There were hundreds, maybe thousands of dead staff all piled up.
How the hell did they not bleed?
Which was a blessing. Apparently, in addition to not bleeding, these things don't rot either. My curiosity got the better of me while we were unloading them, so I took a look at one of the more cut-up ones. They're just skin, or something that looks like skin, all the way through. No muscle, no bone, no organs. Are they even really alive?
Okay. It just got much creepier. How much is it? The average... Okay. Don't ask me how I know this. I think that the average human body has about like 10 pounds of skin. Conversation with somebody who studies medicine. Like if you were to stretch it out, it's pretty large. But fuck me. The body's only comprised of skin. Ugh.
In the first place, it certainly seemed like they have bones when they're moving around, pounding on the walls. And I'm sure I felt more resistance than just skin when the knife went in during the night. Maybe something happens to them when they die. Just one more thing on the ever-increasing list of weird shit that goes on in here, I guess.
That would make perfect sense. Like a transmutation. Becoming like from obviously being with musculature. And then becoming just skin. But still, just skin is nasty. Ew. No.
something occurred to me. After the staff attack the other night,
Those are the
see a
meatballs.
situation like this on TV or in a film, like it's the end of the world or everyone is trapped on an island or whatever. Once groups like ours start to form, people always seem to turn on each other, fighting for food or dominance or whatever else. That hasn't happened here. Apparently people from other towns come by from time to time, just to check in or occasionally trade if they're short on something. But everything is always cordial. Friendly, even. Maybe it's the threat of the staff, or perhaps the constant restocking of supplies in the shops means there's nothing much to fight over. Maybe people are just better than they're generally given credit for. That's a nice thought. I think
nice.
I'll go with that one.
That's the kind of scenario that you want to be in during a post-apocalypse.
People showed up at the gates this afternoon from a town called Trolleys. Apparently the staff broke through the walls and tore the town apart during the night. These 12 are the only survivors out of over 100. We let them in, obviously. One more point in the human decency column. Later, I asked if anyone knew how many of these towns were out there. Between us and the new folks, we managed to come up with over 20 names. 20 towns filled with people, and who knows how many beyond that. The motto for this place should be, how is that even possible? Surely someone, somewhere, must be looking for the thousands of people that must be in here.
IKEA, how is that even possible? Yeah, I think that the president is a fucking joke, but like there was a thing about the CEO of IKEA being elected as the president, because a meme tends to be made that IKEA is the capital of Sweden. But yeah, the CEO of IKEA should really reevaluate the slogan.
I've been here for a little over 2 months now. Not that much changes, as it turns out. A couple of new people showed up. Same story as the rest of us. Nice little trip to IKEA, and suddenly they're trapped in Billy Bookcase's house of faceless weirdos. The staff attack the exchange once or twice a week. We kill them and haul off their bodies. Sometimes they hurt some of us first. They killed a guy called Jared a couple of weeks back.
Oh no, not Jared.
Awful, frankly. Turns out, regular humans still bleed in here, even if the staff don't. We tried our best, but none of us are doctors. Jared was a good guy. He deserved better. We all do.
Oh, that's the worst version of Lost. Not even a doctor amongst them. E. F in chat. Thanks. F for Jared.
It occurred to me that a couple of days after that, none of us were really looking for a way out of here. I don't even know where we'd start. One of those quadcopter things with a camera attached buzzed past exchange today. I thought it meant that someone was finally looking for us, that help was on the way. Apparently it's not the first time this happened, though. Same thing happened a few months ago, and everyone is still here. No idea if it saw us. It didn't stop if it did, just kept flying until we could no longer see it.
Note: based on recovery time of the journal, this entry appears to line up approximately with our first successful test piloting a drone inside SCP-3008-1. Analysis of footage shows a walled settlement under a sign labeled Exchange and Returns.
Why couldn't you have dropped a message with the drone? Oh, god damn it. No. That's so sad. They could have guided them out.
Attempts to relocate the settlement failed. Origin of previously sighted drones is unknown.
I started talking to people about the stuff they miss from home during dinner today. Probably not the best idea I've ever had. Everyone seemed pretty down after. A bunch of people here have families. Husbands and wives, kids, dogs. Franklin apparently has a pet llama, though I'm not sure I buy that.
I imagine a pet turtle, but yeah, I guess llama works as well.
But apparently some of the people here have some seriously odd gaps in their knowledge. 3 of them had never heard of the International Space Station. Two of them seemed to think it was the Prime Minister, and one of them had apparently never heard of the Statue of Liberty. I believed them too. They seemed just as confused as the rest of us.
My hunch is correct. Or at least I hope it is. What? Oh my god. What if this thing stretches beyond time? Now, obviously that doesn't reach with the Statue of Liberty. That one was gifted by the French way later. But... oh... obviously it reaches from other countries then. So, it is connected. Any IKEA from any countries can get you there.
The more it started to explain a few things. What if the reason no one is looking for all us missing people is because we haven't all come from the same place?
Yeah, like I said, IKEA, that we double checked it, was founded in the 1940s, 43. So, yeah, that's a lot of people.
This is gonna sound weird. Maybe that should be the motto for this place. But what if all the people here have come here from different dimensions, realities, whatever you call it? I've seen enough TV shows to know the drill. Sarah comes from a place where there's no Statue of Liberty. They didn't launch a space station where Wasim is from. If everyone here came from different places, even from ones that seem identical, there'd
That sounds even better if it's interdimensional.
be no huge missing persons panic, no mass search. We'd just be a blip, a single missing person in a world of non-stop news. Huh. Well, that was a fun train of thought. Just realized that yesterday was the 6-month anniversary of my arrival here. I wonder if IKEA sells party hats. The routine around here has remained more or less the same. More new folks show up, one every couple weeks or so. Food supplies go up and down, but we've never actually had a major shortage. Occasionally we get a visitor from one of the nearby towns, usually checkouts or aisle 630. We check in with each other from time to time, occasionally trade supplies if someone gets particularly low on something. It's comforting, in a way. A reminder that we aren't alone here.
No Nazi universe civilian. Well, if you've seen Men in a High Castle, that was an alternate universe to ours. If, like, modern day was, if we kind of lost to, well, if the Allied forces had lost and Japan and the US, well, the Axis forces had dominated. Yeah, that would be weird. That would be weird finding like a settlement of only those type of people. A city builder game with IKEA. Oh man. There's a possibility, right? City Skylines 2 is basically incorporating what many of the mods did for the first one. Somebody should make a City Skyline mod for IKEA. Just that. That would be funny. That would be a good selling game, or at least a good selling mod.
Some small glimmer of civilization. Sometimes they bring medical supplies. Apparently there's a pharmacy a few towns down from checkouts that gets restocked every now and then, so they share out what they can. I've never heard of an IKEA with a pharmacy before, but at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if someone stumbled on an IKEA organ harvesting lab. Would certainly explain the staff. Speaking of our faceless jailers, their attacks have been getting worse lately. 3 or 4 times a week now, with twice as many staff as there used to be. No idea where they all come from, or why the attacks have increased. We tried following one of them during the day a few weeks ago, me and Sarah. Wanted to see if they led back to a staff room or something. Didn't seem to go anywhere though. Just randomly walked through the aisles.
Okay.
We had to turn back before we found anything. We've been reinforcing the walls, trying to arm ourselves better. Certainly no lack of materials to use. Wasim has been making more crossbows, but it's pretty slow going. Too bad IKEA doesn't sell guns.
Yet.
I thought I'd say that.
Welcome to the American IKEA. Do you want a 50 cal? It comes with a bed for free. But Walmart sells ammunition, not guns. It's weird. I'm not an anti-gun person, not at all. I actually enjoy them quite a lot. But it still baffles me that just some stores that don't have that much regulation on it.
Note: no new personnel have entered SCP-3008 at site in the time span indicated in this entry.
The attacks are getting bad now. Almost every night. And with so many staff that the bodies almost pile high enough for others to climb the walls. I think we're in real trouble here. I think exchange is done. We got hit pretty bad last night.
Oh no.
Not many casualties, but the wall is wrecked. We finally figured out why the attacks have been escalating too. A box of supplies had a chunk of one of the staff in there. No idea how it happened, but apparently
Oh shoot. Oh.
only a piece of one will draw them, as well as a full body.
Yeah.
Too late now, in any case. There's too many bodies for us to haul away and still have time to fix the wall before midnight.
Did someone try to sabotage them? Yeah, that, like, if you've been there for years already, you will double check something like that. Is there a piece of skin anywhere? Jesus Christ. Oh.
Candace has called a meeting. I suspect there will be talk of abandoning exchange. Maybe try and get shelter at the checkouts or something. It's already getting late, though. I don't think we'll have time to make it. Maybe some of us will. I was fine for that first week out in the dark after all. But then, how often can I keep getting lucky? I'm only writing this for a sense of closure, I guess. For me, or for anyone who finds this. If this is the final entry here, I hope whoever is reading this is doing so from outside of this place. My biggest fear. If I do die tonight, I'll just wake up here again in the morning.
Note: this is the last entry. It is assumed that while he was attempting to reach the checkouts settlement, he was separated from the rest of his group by pursuing SCP-3008-2 instance and happened upon the exit.
Damn, that is sad. But props to the VA here. He truly did channel the horror through it. At least in the last few entries there. How unsettling it was and how unnerving he was getting at. That was great. Great.
Oof. I've been to IKEA a few times, and that guy's recollection, not that different from mine.
Shut up.
Just saying. That place is a war zone. Also, why do I keep on getting assigned interdimensional SCPs? I don't know. Anyway, I think that about does it for today. Thank you very much for listening, if indeed you still are, and you are all dismissed. Go away. I'm just kidding. Goodbye.
God dang.
I would like to give a special thank you to Curva Gaming, Zach Geller.
That is wild. That would hurt me. I will never want to be in that situation. Wow, those were disgusting. Actually, I mean, like, physically speaking, they don't do that much in comparison to the Leviathan that we checked out before. And of course, Shy Guy. But, yeah. The conditions under which you are subjected, they alone will drive you insane.